I don't like being told no. I don't think anyone does. In 2 Corinthians 12, Paul was told no by God. He had a thorn in his flesh, and for 3 times he pleaded that God remove it. And God said no. He said, "My grace is sufficient for you, and my power is made perfect in weakness." My grace is sufficient. His grace shows us his love, his care, and his goodness. My grace. It is the grace of God, the grace of the Creator of the heavens and the earth, who sent his only Son to die on the cross. My grace is sufficient. His grace is sufficient right now. It doesn't say his grace will be sufficient. His grace is sufficient in this very moment. My grace is sufficient. We don't need anything else. And who are we to think that we need more than the grace of the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords? My grace is sufficient for you. This isn't just for Paul. His grace is sufficient for me, and it is sufficient for you. When we are told no by God, when we have a thorn in our flesh, whatever it may be, it teaches us that we depend on God. It shows us that we are weak and helpless. And Paul understood this. And he submitted himself to God's will in such a way that he made an amazing impact on this world. And we can see that through how his letters reached all over, teaching the gospel and even reaching us here today. And I hope that we can also learn to submit ourselves to God's will, because it's much more than any yes or no that we may receive. And as Paul said in 2 Corinthians 12, verse 10, "For Christ's sake I delight in my weakness, in insult, in hardship, in persecution, and in difficulties. For when I am weak, I am strong."